Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Morrowind Monday. Last time, I was able to acquire the Nerevarine title from the Arabinimson Ashlanders. And so, I have traveled back to the Urshalaku camp, and I am now going to speak with the wise woman, Nabani Mesa, and find out what the next trials are. Debani? You are the Nerevarine. Ask and I shall answer, with Azura's blessing. So I completed the 5th trial. You have been named Nerevarine by the 4 tribes of Vardenfell. You have fulfilled that part of the prophecy. Urshalaku, Ahemusa, Zainab, and Arabinimson. All have named you Nerevarine. You have fulfilled the 5th trial of the 7 visions. What about this? Yeah, the 6th trial. I was blind, but Azura's star has guided me through my dreams. Vivec's high priest, Sariani, has asked to see you when you are Hortator Nerevarine. Go to him and demand to speak with the false god Vivec. Vivec has tried to keep Kagranak's tools secret, but you will need these tools when you stand before Dagoth. Get Kagranak's tools from Vivec. They are the keys to the riddle of the 6th and 7th trials. Okay. Kagranak's tools. What are these? In the Lost Prophecy, Star-blessed hand wields thrice-cursed blade. Gilvis Barello has told you of Kagranak's tools, the enchanted devices the Tribunal used to steal power from Lorkhan's heart. One of these tools is the blade Keening. Your star-blessed hand must wield Keening. If Vivec has this blade, it is your fate to take this blade from him. To take it from him? The Vivec? You're serious. Okay, alright. I wish it was warmer somehow. Okay, I'm gonna rest up. And then I guess I'm traveling to Vivec, so I'll see you guys when I get there. Okay, I have made it to the temple in Vivec, and now I just need to locate the High Fane. I don't know what the High Fane is exactly, but there's the healer or the archcannon. One of those two could supposedly. Oh, this is one of the people. Okay. I'm gonna quick save because I don't know who's gonna be upset about me wearing the Endural armor. I know the Ordinators get upset about that, so just don't talk to them. Quickly, did you want to meet the Archcanon? Yes. The Archcanon is in his private quarters, and he very much wishes to speak with you. And I am to warn you, avoid confrontations with the Ordinators at all costs. The Archcanon has spoken with the High Fane Ordinators, but if you are a wanted criminal, they may try to arrest you. If the blood of the faithful servants of the temple is spilled, it will make a reconciliation all that much more difficult. I don't think I killed any of them, but yeah, I'm gonna avoid the Ordinators, though. Okay. What, you want me to avoid confrontations? There's a private back entrance to Sariani's private quarters. Perhaps you might also want to sneak past the Ordinators by stealth or magic. The Archcanon is waiting alone to speak with you in his private quarters. His private quarters are in the southern half of the East Chapel of the High Fane, but there are Ordinators at the entrances to both the East and West Chapels. What is the... Is this the chapel? That's the High Fane. So, am I gonna go behind? There's a secret back entrance. Are these secret entrances down here? Hello. That's the Hall of Justice. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay, well, I have a quick save at least. So I'll just go inside and hope for the best. Don't mind me. Andrus Thorandus, Delena Loran. What does this door go to? Eris, tell us. What's your book? I want to read your book. No, I don't. Don't care about the book. Where is that slave? Locked. What is the mystery here? Don't know. I'm confused. What is the East and West Chapel? Excuse me again. Yes, Archcanon, private quarters. The southern half of the East Chapel. Is this the chapel back here? I thought this is where Vivec hung out. Don't want to cheat. I don't want to look it up. I just want to figure it out because they give you directions most of the time. Am I stupid? Does this count as the Eastern Chapel? Why can't they just say the Hall of Wisdom? Why does nobody else phrase it as the... It's the Hall of Justice. It wouldn't be this door, would it? Aha! Aha! Here we are.
What do you want?
Thank you for coming, Humphrey Lopanek. You know the temple's doctrine on the Nerevarine. Perhaps it is time to change that doctrine. The temple must protect the people from false doctrines, and your association with Imperial intelligence makes your motivations and integrity suspect. But you have been chosen Hortator and Nerevarine by the Dunma people, and we have reached a crisis with Dagoth. We can no longer defend the people against the awakened Sixth House. You and your prophecies may represent our last hope. Our situation is desperate, but I would rather have you hear the details of our situation, and the circumstances leading up to that situation, from Lord Vivec himself. He has asked to see you. Would you agree to a private meeting with him, and hear in person what he has to say?
Yes, I will meet with Vivec. This is my path.
Good. Here are 2 keys. One to the private back entrance to my quarters, the other to a locked entrance to Lord Vivec's palace. I regret that, at present, the Ordinators are not completely under my control. So, for now, I'll ask you avoid confrontations with them. Lord Vivec is expecting you. His lordship is remarkably patient, but perhaps it would be better not to keep him waiting.
What can you tell me about Vivec from your own experience?
Vivec was the most gallant knight and the most subtle rogue of the First Council.
Succinct. Okay. Gallant knight, subtle rogue. All right, so I'm gonna go meet Vivec. Now we're talking. Finally, a little recognition. Excuse me. The sun rises on the reunification of Vivec and Nerevar. Palace Shrine. A blessing. Thank you for your generosity, Lord Vivec. I shall neither hoard nor steal nor encumber myself with profitless treasures, but shall share freely among house and hearth. I made the pilgrimage to the palace of Vivec and read the grace of generosity. Okay. I'm gonna quick save, because I have no idea what stands before me. Probably, oh yeah, I probably want to get an amulet on. That might be worth a shot. Is there anything? The tailored trousers. Fortify my personality. That would be useful. Hop-toed ring. I don't have any other. Well, I've got these ones. Put on the septum ring, I think. Oh. What did it take off? I see. Ah, the moon and star. That's what I need to be wearing. The mark of Azura. Okay. And my belt could prove useful. Okay. Once again, I'll quick save and I'm going to go in. It's in. Vivec. I expected you. We have business, you and I. What business? When I was young like you, I was very impatient. So I will keep our business short. Then, later, there may be time for other things. First, I propose to remove my curse upon the Nerevarine, end the persecution of the dissident priests, and proclaim to all Morrowind that Humphrey Lopernick is the incarnate and Nerevarine, the prophesied savior of Morrowind, and the last hope to withstand the menace of Dagoth and the Sixth House. These things I will do, whether you wish or not. I thought you said you proposed to do that, but you're going to do it. Next, I propose to surrender to you the power and responsibility of defeating Dagoth. You may choose to refuse. I will not compel you. You will receive the power as a gift, in the form of an artifact called Wraithguard. You may accept the gift, then do with it as you will. You will receive the responsibility as an oath. You may give your oath, then keep it or break it as you like. First, will you accept Wraithguard as a gift? This is the power to defeat Dagoth. I cannot refuse. Good. Sensible of you. And now, will you give your oath before all gods and men, before all spirits visible and invisible, before my honor and your honor, to dedicate yourself and Wraithguard to the defeat and destruction of Dagoth and the preservation of Morrowind and its people? Maybe. It depends. I'm wondering about Keening. A sensible response. Alas, I am not looking for someone sensible. I'm sorry. I'm afraid you will not find Wraithguard of much use to you, for without your oath I shall not teach you how to use it. So that concludes our interview. I hope it has not been an inconvenience. If you change your mind, come back. I did not realize... They should have put one more dialogue. Are you sure? Because this is what happens. The business... I accept Wraithguard, and I swear. Not very sensible, but very good. I was hoping for someone who would have no hesitations about making such an oath. You will now have a brief momentary sensation of time passing. Don't be alarmed. You are being taken out of time in order to avoid the unpleasant experience of learning how to use Wraithguard. It will be over before... There is a brief sensation of motion in total darkness, floating, but without a sense of weight or direction. You know it. Now, I will notify the temple that you are our champion. Now there shall be no more persecution of the dissident priests, and I hope both sides shall swiftly be reconciled. We have time for your questions if you like, or you may leave as you wish. But I think there are at least two things you ought to know before you leave. How to use Wraithguard, and how to defeat Dagoth. To defeat Dagoth, go to Red Mountain to recover the artifact hammer Sunder from Gate Citadel Veminal. Then recover the artifact blade Keening from the Gate Citadel Odrasol. Then proceed with Wraithguard, Sunder, and Keening to the Citadel of Dagoth. Within the Citadel, find the Heart of Lorcan. Use the 3 artifacts to sever Dagoth's connection to the Heart, and he will be destroyed, and the Blight ended on Morrowind. To destroy Dagoth, you must sever his connection with the Heart of Lorcan. To do this, strike the Heart with the artifact hammer Sunder once, then strike the heart more than once with the artifact blade Keening. You must wear Wraithguard because you cannot handle either Sunder or Keening unless you are wearing Wraithguard. That is the short, simple explanation. Here is the long, detailed explanation written down for your convenience. Read it, study it, commit it to memory. Wasn't Dagoth a member of the tribunal or something? Dagoth is the former Lord High Counselor of House Dagoth. He was one of Lord Nerevar's generation, older than we, and a mighty sorcerer, and enchanted in life. In his sustained shadow, immortality, he appears to be a highly intelligent, severely deluded immortal monster with an unparalleled and supernatural ability. He appears by turns lucid and deranged, compassionate and bestial, profoundly wise and profoundly disordered. In short, he is a mad god. Do you have any further counsel? You need to know, where is Dagoth? What are Dagoth's plans? Who are Dagoth's servants? Who is Dagoth? What are Dagoth's powers? What is known about Dagoth's defenses? How can I prepare for battle against Dagoth? Who can help? Servants. What are his powers? He is able to send his mind into the dreams of susceptible victims across vast distances. The victims are either swayed by his compulsions or driven mad. He also seems nearly invulnerable to physical and magical harm. His flesh, and the flesh of his followers, evolves toward a mutable magical form. Dagoth and the highest ranks can control the distorted manifestations of their flesh. Lower ranks lose control of their bodies and become mindless corpus monsters. So corpus is the means by which House Dagoth obtains its power. And tell me about his servants then. Chief among his servants are his 7 brothers, the Ash Vampires, powerful heart-wights and cunning sorcerers of old. These creatures appear to die, but always are revived at the heart. Somehow Dagoth has conferred some portion of his immortality upon them, or perhaps they sustain themselves through more conventional sorcery. And what about his defenses? Confer with the Ordinators and Buoyant Armigers garrisoning Ghostgate for the latest information about the defenses of the citadels of Dagoth and his heart-white kin. How shall I prepare for battle? Prepare for war. Beyond the Ghost Fence, there are no safe places, no allies. Stockpile resources. Plan for retreat and replenishment. Quest for artifacts of power. Who can help? Ordinators and Buoyant Armigers stationed at Ghostgate have the most practical knowledge of the nightmare world inside the Ghost Fence. Seek them in my name and counsel and aid for counsel and aid. When I have everything, where is Dagoth? Dagoth has never ventured out of the Heart Chamber, the place under Red Mountain, where the heart of Lorcan lies. It is there, or nearby, that he is constructing a new god, a Kulakon, also known as Second Numidium. Numidium? My lore senses are tingling. I think Numidium is like the source of magic. I'm not sure. I think that's like where magic comes from in the Elder Scrolls. That's kind of bad news. Second Numidium? Do you know anything about Red Mountain that nobody else does? In my library, I have made available 2 conflicting accounts of the events of Red Mountain. My own true account, and another false account common among the Ashlanders and preserved in the Apocrypha. I don't care whether you believe my account or not. I leave it up to you to judge which is true. Your library. I want your trust and willing cooperation. So I've had the priests make copies of a number of documents. They're here for you to read or take with you. Take a look at them. Help yourself. Very well. Thank you, Lord Vivec. Thank you for the gift of Wraithguard. Is this your library? The Battle of Red Mountain. The following is a transcript of the words of Lord Vivec, addressed to a dissident priest, Malor O'Main, who confronted Vivec with the Ashlander traditions surrounding the Battle of Red Mountain and with prophecies of the Nerevarine, and to unnamed magistrates of the Inquisition who joined Vivec in interrogating the dissident priest. Who can clearly recall the events of the distant past? But you have asked me to tell you, in my own words, the events surrounding the Battle of Red Mountain, the birth of the Tribunal, and the prophecies of a Nerevar reborn. Here is what I can tell you. When the Chimera first abandoned the herds and tents of the their nomadic ancestors and built the first great houses. We loved the Daedra and worshipped them as gods. But our brethren, the Dwemer, scorned the Daedra and mocked our foolish rituals, and preferred instead their gods of reason and logic. So the Chimer and the Dwemer were always at bitter war, until the Nords came and invaded Resdain. Only then did the Chimer and Dwemer put away their strife and join together to cast out the invaders. Once the Nords were driven out, General Nerevar of the Chimer and General Dumak of the Dwemer, who had come to love and respect one another, resolved to make peace between their peoples. In that time I was but a junior counselor to Nerevar, and Nerevar's queen, Almalexia, and his other favorite counselor, Sotha Sil, always doubted such a peace might long survive, given the bitter disputes between Chimer and Dwemer. But by negotiation and compromise, Nerevar and Dumak somehow managed to preserve a fragile peace. But when Dagoth Lord of House Dagoth, and trusted as a friend by both Nerevar and the Dwemer, brought us proof that High Engineer Kagranok of the Dwemer had discovered the heart of Lorkhan, and that he had learned how to tap its powers and was building a new god, a mockery of Chimer faith and a fearsome weapon. We all urged Nerevar to make war on the dwarves, to destroy this threat to Chimer beliefs and security. Nerevar was troubled. He went to Dumak and asked if what Dagoth said was true. But Kagranok took great offense, and asked whom Nerevar thought he was, that he might presume to judge the affairs of the Dwemer. Nerevar was further troubled, and made pilgrimage to Holamayan, the sacred temple of Azura, and Azura confirmed that all that Dagoth said was indeed true, and that the creation of a new god of the Dwemer should be prevented at all costs. When Nerevar came back and told us what the goddess had said, we felt our judgments confirmed, and again counseled him to war, chiding Nerevar for his naive trust and friendship, and reminding Nerevar of his duty to protect the faith and security of the Chimer against the impiety and dangerous ambitions, of the Dwemer. Then Nerevar went back to Vardenfell one last time, hoping that negotiations and compromise might once again preserve the peace. But this time, the friends Nerevar and Dumak quarreled bitterly, and as a result, the Chimer and Dwemer went to war. The Dwemer were well defended by their fortress at Red Mountain, but Nerevar's cunning drew most of Dumak's armies out into the field and pinned them there, while Nerevar, Dagoth, and a small group of companions could make their way into the Heart Chamber by secret means. There, Nerevar the Chimer King met Dumak the Dwarf King, and they both collapsed from grievous wounds and draining magics. With Dumak fallen and threatened by Dagoth and others, Kagranok turned his tools upon the heart, and Nerevar said he saw Kagranok and all his Dwemer companions at once disappear from the world. In that instant, Dwemer everywhere disappeared without a trace, but Kagranok's tools remained, and Dagoth seized them. He carried them to Nerevar, saying, "That fool Kagranok has destroyed his own people with these things. We should destroy them right away, lest they fall into the wrong hands." But Nerevar was resolved to confer with his queen and his generals, who had foreseen that this war would come and whose counsel he would not ignore again. "I will ask the tribunal what we shall do with them, for they have had wisdom in the past that I had not. Stay here, loyal Dagoth, until I return." So Nerevar told Dagoth to protect the tools in the Heart Chamber until he returned. Then Nerevar was carried to us where we waited on the slopes of Red Mountain, and he told us all that had transpired under Red Mountain. What Nerevar had said was that the Dwemer had used special tools to turn their people into immortals, and that the heart of Lorkhan held wondrous powers. Only later did we hear from others present that Dagoth had thought the Dwemer destroyed, not made immortal, and no one knows for sure what really happened there. After hearing Nerevar, we gave our counsel as he requested, proposing, We should preserve these tools in trust for the welfare of the Chimer people. And who knows, perhaps the Dwemer are not gone forever, but merely transported to some distant realm, from which they may someday return to threaten our security once again. Therefore, we need to keep these tools, to study them and their principles, so that we may be safe in future generations. And though Nerevar voiced his grave misgivings, he was willing to be ruled by our council, under one condition, that we all together should swear a solemn oath upon Azura that the tools would never be used in the profane manner that the Dwemer had intended. We all readily agreed, and swore solemn oaths at Nerevar's dictation. So then we went with Nerevar back into Red Mountain and met with Dagothur. Dagothur refused to deliver the tools to us, saying they were dangerous and we could not touch them. Dagothur seemed to be irrational, insisting that only he could be trusted with the tools. And then we guessed that he had somehow been affected by his handling of the tools. But now I feel sure that he had privately learned the powers of the tools, and had in some confused way decided he must have them for himself. Then Nerevar and our guard resorted to force to secure the tools. Somehow, Dagothur and his retainers escaped, but we gained the tools and delivered them to Sothasil for study and safekeeping. For some years we kept the oaths we swore to Azura with Nerevar, but during that time, in secret, Sothasil must have studied the tools and divined their mysteries. And at last he came to us with a vision of a new world of peace, with justice and honor for nobles and health and prosperity for the commoners, with the tribunal as immortal patrons and guides. In dedicating ourselves to this vision of a better world, we made a pilgrimage to Red Mountain and transformed ourselves with the power of Kagranak's tools. And no sooner than we had completed our rituals and begun to discover our newfound powers, the Daedra Lord Azura appeared and cursed us for our forsworn oaths. By her powers of prophecy, she assured us that her champion, Nerevar, true to his oath, would return to punish us for our perfidy, and to make sure such profane knowledge might never again be used to mock and defy the will of the gods. But Sothasil said to her, "The old gods are cruel and arbitrary, and distant from the hopes and fears of Mer. Your age is past. We are the new gods, born of the flesh and wise and caring of the needs of our people. Spare us your threats and chiding, inconstant spirit. We are bold and fresh, and will not fear you." And then, in that moment, all Chimer were changed into Dunmer, and our skins were turned ashen and our eyes into fire. Of course, we only knew at that time that this had happened to us. But Azura said, "This is not my act, but your act. You have chosen your fate and the fate of your people, and all the Dunmer shall share your fate, from now to the end of time. You think yourselves gods, but you are blind, and all is darkness." And Azura left us alone in darkness, and we were all afraid, but we put on brave faces and went forth from Red Mountain to build the new world of our dreams. And the new world we shaped was glorious and generous, and the worship of the Dunmer fervent and grateful. The Dunmer were at first afraid of their new faces, but Sothasil spoke to them, saying that it was not a curse but a blessing, a sign of their changed natures, and a sign of the special favor they might enjoy as new Mer. And no longer barbarians trembling before ghosts and spirits, but civilized Mer, speaking directly to their immortal friends and patrons, the three faces of the tribunal. And we were all inspired by Sothasil's speech and vision, and took heart. And over time, we crafted the customs and institutions of a just and honorable society. And the land of Resdain knew millennia of peace, equity, and prosperity unknown to other savage races. But beneath Red Mountain, Dagothur had survived, and even as the light of our bold new world shined ever more brightly, beneath Red Mountain the darkness gathered, a darkness that was close kin to the bright light that Sothasil coaxed from the heart of Lorcan with the tools of Kagranok. As the darkness grew, we fought it, and crafted walls to confine it, but we never could destroy it, for the source of the darkness was the same source as the source of our own divine inspiration. And in these latter days of Morrowind, reduced to a subjugated province of the Western Empire, as the glory of the temple fades and the dark tide rises from Red Mountain, we are reminded of Azura and her promised champion's return. We have waited blind and in darkness, mere shadows, drained of our ardent vision, in shame of our folly, in fear of our judgment, and in hope of our deliverance. We do not know if the outlander claiming to fulfill the prophecies of the Nerevarine is our old companion Nerevar reborn, or a pawn of the Emperor, or a cat's paw of the Azura, or some simple twist of fate. But we insist you adhere to temple doctrine, and conform to the strictures dividing the Hieroglypha from the Apocrypha, and that you not speak that which must not be spoken openly. Act as a dutiful priest should, in accordance with your vows of obedience to the canons and archcanons, and all will be forgiven. Defy me, and you will know what it is to stand against a god. Oh, man. That's a lot. That's a lot to take in. I think that's enough for this episode. Thank you all for joining me on this adventure for meeting with Vivec, who perhaps still bears the mark of Chimer. Curious. I'm 10-point score. Signing off. Until next time.